All right, let's get started. I think it's ready to go. I feel ready to go about this stuff. Hold on 1 second. Almost there. Okay. Hey, is this a? Why is it not? Why is it being weird? Okay. Welcome to the show. There it is. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Glad to see you guys here. For some reason, my Stream Deck is being weird, so we'll just close it and reopen it, perhaps. Something along those lines. What are you doing? What are you doing, Stream Deck? What's happening? Everything's working fine, except you're just in a panic. Is that what's happening? I'm not going to restart it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll make it through no matter what. Okay, I was going to end process of that program and then restart it. Okay, good. That's it. Oh, I can't go back to there. Hi, everybody. Hello. I'm just clicking around. Don't mind me. I'm just fixing some things that were acting weird. Welcome to the show. Look at that. People just gathering in. Good to see you. It's the GRU. HAL withdrawal is now over. Oh, thank you. By the way, I regular show tonight, and then of course tomorrow, as best I will have a morning show. It will be later than normal. I will have an afternoon show. It should be right on time. That should be fine because I'm still in Pacific time. I'll be in San Diego. First show tomorrow night is 8 p.m. Second show is 10. I should be all right. In theory, I have radio before the morning show tomorrow, so it's sort of a travel time thing. I've got to be there at 8 a.m., and then I got to finish up whatever radio is whenever they're going to put me on, and then get back to the hotel and get up and rolling to do the morning show. So if it drifts a little, be forgiving, please. I ask you kindly to forgive a bit of the road travel flexibility. Audio's too low. Okay, I will bring myself up a touch and see if that helps. Anybody? Is that better? Are we there? I don't want to be too loud, too low. There we go. Check, check 1, check 2. Hello, everybody. Welcome. How are you? Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. All right. Lots of show today. It's hard to tell what to start with some days because there's just a spattering of all kinds of awful. And by all kinds of awful, of course, I'm not kidding. Yeah. Obviously, there's this kind of awful we're going to talk about. Obviously, there's always some Jimmy Dore awful, whether we cover it or not. And then this kind of like high dollar, professional awful, the Sean Hannity type. But do you mind if I start with the mess D'Souza and his 2,000 Mules is not doing very well. First of all, it's all bullshit. Second of all, the amount of bullshit in it is not, surprisingly enough to him and everybody around him, not easily covered by a bunch of stock footage and shit graphic techniques to make you think it's very serious. Basically, what you're watching is an episode of like 2020 or Dateline NBC about a murder, where Dateline gets it all wrong and ends up having to do a giant correction so they don't get sued. This is that between the correction and the suing part. It's hilarious. It's super fun. I would like to say, for the record, that hold on 1 second. I have to click on something. There we go. And then this is my back thing, and then we go there. And then because I'm checking in for my flight, and this is how I go. My thing all of a sudden came up to like do that. It finally came through. Let's see. Oh, yes, we'll add that. Whoops. There we go. All right. I don't have to do that. Hold on. This guy. That's what I got to do. Go. All right. Things are very touchy. I love travel. Okay, let's do this. No, I don't need to do that. Just get on with it, man. I don't know why this is it's being all weird and stuff. Yeah, just do that. Come on, there you go. I don't know. It's I start always talking with an accent whenever stuff doesn't work the way it's supposed to work, right? And then it does, and then we're fine. Just do it. Yeah, there we go. Should do it. And then I'm all set. Yes, I know that. Continue. Got it. there's so many extra buttons these days because of, like COVID, post-COVID stuff. It's Michael Caine. I'm signing in as Michael Caine. I'm traveling, but I do not have Michael Caine. Except, yes, I accept the health acknowledgement. I accept it. I have accepted the healthy acknowledgement. I don't want to bring on hazardous materials. I'll know that now. I'll do both. Thank you. Shit. All right, now I'm done. Good Lord. I mean, it's so easy and yet still complicated. Thank you so much, Andy Sarah, for gifting the subs. Don't forget on Twitch, twitch.tv/HalSparks. Don't forget to subscribe, of course, and on YouTube as well. We are within swinging distance of 35,000 subscribers, people. We are well within wiggle distance. If we could, if we could just clear that, can you imagine? Oh. We're at 34,769. We're within 250 subscribers of 35K. Very exciting. Oh my gosh. Okay, now, and I know that there's got to be at least 250 former Demes D'Souza's, fans out there that have seen my takedowns of his garbage and are like, I've seen the light. I was deluded and ridiculous for a long time, but I've had enough. I'm tired of being embarrassed at family gatherings. I'm tired of making an ass out of myself, or a mule out of myself, depending on which translation of the Bible you're using. And I'm over it. I'm going to start watching you from now on, Hal Sparks, because you've never let me down. By the way, the Ukraine funding went through today. Fuck you, Rand Paul. Just saying. You did nothing. You slowed things down. You may have tried to get more people killed, but ultimately ineffective gibberish. And we'll have some, obviously Marjorie Taylor Greene voted against that. She also voted against allowing people on WIC to get baby formula because pro-life. She apparently has some sort of an excuse for that. We don't know what that is. All right, here we go. Very exciting. But this is, I have to admit, the title of this, and I have not watched it, but the title of this video makes me feel seen. Debunking a desperate leftist leftist attempt to invalidate 2,000 Mules. How dare you? And by the way, this was wedged right next to a 2-part series he had to do, pushing back on Ben Shapiro's debunking of his garbage. Yikes! Poor Demes, he's getting it from all quarters. Let's see. What he's going to debunk the debunking of his bunk. Let's see. Very exciting.
The left is really getting desperate on 2000.
Yes, I'm terribly desperate. I woke up in a cold sweat this morning.
Mules. They started out by unleashing their fact checkers.
Yes, we unleash them. We have to keep them leashed up, or they'll shake the baby.
And these are 20 and 30 somethings.
Oh, I guess he's not talking about me. I don't know if you know this. I just look like a 30-something, Dinesh.
And they thought, okay, yeah, we'll shut this down, But of course, these are people who know nothing about geo-tracking.
Yeah, that's the thing about 20-somethings is they don't really understand tech. Yeah, if you really want somebody who understands the finer points of geo-tracking and geolocation and GPS, those kind of things, you really want to look for somebody in their mid-60s.
Geo-tracking is not very reliable.
Yeah, it isn't.
And they don't know much about election law. And
yeah, they don't. Apparently, that's something you have in common with them. So, see, we can all build bridges.
And so they had these clumsy first salvos that were easily repelled. In fact, even people who had nothing to do with politics would say things like, wait a minute, I lost my cell phone in some tall grass and I was able to pinpoint its exact location within inches.
Yeah, because of another device that locates it on your behalf, not the stuff that they sell, but right.
So this idea that all this technology doesn't work is like laughably absurd. And so suddenly the left realized, oh my.
Well, also, if you included everywhere my phone was positioned all the time, except where you wanted to see it be. See what I'm going? Is it where I'm going with this? That if you would exclude every time my phone was near someplace you didn't want it to be, and only use places where you thought it linked up with your specific narrative, that's where people would call into question the consequential nature of your affirmations about this.
My gosh, we've obviously deployed our B team, and that's not going to be enough. We need to unleash the A team. So the A team is now coming out. The A team is the New York.
Is obviously Face, Murdoch, Mr. T, and Crazy Pants.
Times, which is evidently trying to do some sort of a hit job. They haven't published.
Hannibal, I think. Sorry, actually. Murdoch was the Crazy Pants.
Yet. Whoop-de-doo. I mentioned the Washington Post, which I'll be discussing in depth tomorrow.
You're going to have to.
Philip Bump in the Washington Post. There's an article in NPR, which I'll be dealing with.
Not NPR. Gee, so who unleashed NPR? Do you know the damage they can cause if they just... I mean, just their calm tone of voice has been known to shake buildings to their very foundation.
Tomorrow, probably. But I want to talk about an article in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, which is focusing on Georgia. And I want to use it as just a case study of just classic deception at all levels. Title.
Well, I would say that about 2,000 Mules, except there's nothing classic about it, and the levels are, I mean, it's not at all levels. It's like at 2 levels.
Of the article. Georgia investigation dispels allegations highlighted in 2,000 Mules. Let's just take in the title for a minute. You think you're going to get some kind of refutation of the allegation in 2,000 Mules that 242 mules have been identified through cell phone geo-tracking, visiting 10 or more drop boxes each. And a bunch of these people are seen on video. Not all of them, but a bunch.
Yeah, a bunch. Define bunch. 8. I mean, they're black. So they're probably, what are they, worth twice as many as like a white person?
To them where the video is available. Now, the subtitle of the article, ballots were legally delivered for family members.
Right.
Okay, and then I start reading the article. The article, it turns out, is about one guy. And I'm going to read. Surveillance video showed a man pull up in a white SUV and insert 5 absentee ballots into a Gwinnett County Dropbox. An investigation revealed he was delivering ballots for his family, which is allowed under Georgia law. First of all, I immediately begin thinking to myself, an investigation revealed he was delivering ballots for his family. Now, how would an investigation reveal that? Remember, when an absentee ballot...
Because they asked him and they asked his family and they said, when did this happen? And this is a piece of video that isn't new to this movie. It was used in other shit by Giuliani and his lackeys to attack this dude. And so they went and asked. And then all the people in the family who voted, all 5 of them, had one of those little, like, your vote was counted things on their fucking phones. Like that.
Ballot is put into a ballot box. It goes in with all the other ballots. And once the ballot is taken out of the envelope, the 2 pieces of evidence, the envelope with the...
Oh my fucking God. They asked him and they asked his family. He left the house at a certain time. When'd you go? Yeah, I dropped him off myself. I did it after work. I had him in my car and then I put him in there. He's in the fucking movie. And this asshole is accusing this guy of committing a major crime, the kind that maggots will kill you for. And he's pissed that they just went and said, who voted in your family? Oh, these people live in my house and my mom lives upstairs and she voted. And so I just dropped him off there because nobody wanted to leave the house because it was fucking COVID. And that's what we did. And he put me in this thing saying, did you guys all vote? Yes, we did.
The signature and the name is in one side.
Oh, fuck off. They asked the voters. It's his family. Also, and by the way, I will give him the benefit of the doubt just for the sake of this argument. Dinesh, if there's any chance this dude dropped off 5 fake illegal ballots, they were all for Trump.
And the ballot goes in with all the other ballots. There's no way to retrieve those ballots. In fact, this has been...
Yeah, it's very possible this guy took his family's votes, which they all voted for Biden, and he, on his way there, tore them open, put in a vote for Trump, sealed it, and put it in the thing. That is 100% possible. So I think we should take 5 votes out of Trump's count just to be safe.
This was discussed in the movie, and it's a little bit of a problem for my side because I can't reverse engineer the process by finding those ballots, but neither can the other side.
Sure they can. They don't have to. They just have to ask the guy and his family and and confirm there were 5 people, and they go, yeah, that was Wednesday the week before, and he dropped him off for us because he was going to work, and at that point, because of COVID, because my aunt's got an immune suppression issue, and there was no vaccine at the time, we were all being super careful, so he did all that, so they called, like, that's how you check. Motherfucker.
They can't go find the ballots either. So how do they know that this guy who's seen on video putting in ballots one after the other?
Because they asked him and his family, and there are 5 people in the family that voted, and they said, yeah, we voted, and then they got a little notification that says they received your ballot. You know, all the work you didn't do
was delivering ballots for family members. It turns out they don't know. The only way that they claim to know is they asked him.
Right.
So he goes, yeah, I was delivering ballots for family members. And that is the basis, and it turns out the sole basis for providing this so-called refutation.
Well, that and his family members voted when you asked them.
Now, literally,
you didn't ask him. You accused this man of committing a crime. You used footage of him doing it. You released the premise that this guy was committing a crime, and you never talked to the fucking guy.
This article implies that this single case, this solitary case, they go, so far, Georgia election investigators have debunked the movie's allegations.
Right. They use him as an example, but in the recount and in the canvass, they discovered no massive voting fraud, none of this stuff. Nobody who was from any of these votes that were dropped off, none of the ballots in these areas, none of the, they asked a swath of voters in these areas, did you really vote this way? When did you do it? Did you do it by mail? How'd you get it there? And they went, yeah, this guy dropped it off for me because he lives in the house, we're all family, and he did this or whatever, and I voted for, yeah. And who'd you vote for? I'm not telling you, but you don't have to. Did you vote? Yes. When? This date.
And I'm thinking, where? When? Where's the debunking of the allegations? I've never seen it. It doesn't exist.
I actually, we haven't watched the movie yet, so we'll do that at some point. Obviously, he's going to hit me with a copyright strike when I do it. So just get prepared.
So essentially, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution is going based on this one case, extrapolating to the 242 cases which have not been investigated.
Well, no, they have by Georgia because they did a canvass, and if there was a major upset where there were like chunks of ballots where people were like, I didn't vote. What are you talking about?
The Georgia election investigators have not come to any conclusion regarding that geo-tracking evidence.
Yeah, they don't have to, because they talk to the actual fucking voters.
As far as I know, an investigation ongoing, although I'm highly suspicious about whether this is an investigation that's intended to go anywhere, or it's an investigation essentially designed to put everything into slow motion so that...
Well, that's only because you're talking about Republicans who may have created fraudulent votes to try and help Trump, and now people are looking and they're going to find out that they actually were assisting Trump, even though he turned on them like he turned on Kemp and Ratzenberger. They were actually in the process of helping him commit fraud, and they don't want people to look because he fucking lost. And they're just like, hey, he lost, never mind, whatever.
That nothing actually happens. The article goes on to say, True the Vote hasn't complied with subpoenas issued because it, quote, wants to protect the confidentiality. Yes, this is the confidentiality of True the Vote's whistleblower. Now, the whistleblower came forward at the beginning. This was the very initiation of the investigation.
Also, what are they going to do? What whistleblower? What are they? How are they going to lose their fucking job? What danger are they in? Seriously. Who's going to snuff this person? Kemp? Raffensperger?
The whistleblower confirmed that he was paid $10 a ballot. And not only he was part of an operation that paid $10 a ballot. So, by the way, in my conversation with the Washbows, how do you know the mules are paid? We don't see them getting paid in the movie. Well, okay, I didn't show it in the movie because the whistleblower wants to stay anonymous.
Because he won't sign an affidavit then? He won't go into court and testify? So he just helps you make a propaganda movie, but won't go, say, before Congress and talk about this? Yeah, sounds like a whistleblower to me.
As in fact sort of disappeared, but the whistleblower testified that there was this...
Beg your pardon? Hold on. He what?
Anonymous, as in fact sort of disappeared.
What? Wait, fuck you. Hold on. What? Wait a minute.
I didn't show it in the movie because the whistleblower wants to stay anonymous, as in fact sort of disappeared, but the whistleblower testified that there was this...
First of all, testified where? He didn't testify anywhere. He talked to you. He talked to this, allegedly talked to True the Vote. Now they're fucking gone? What? No. No, for fuck's sake. That's not a whistleblower. All right. Meanwhile, this dude is shitting all over Vindman for coming forward and questioning the veracity of his claims when he put his fucking name and career on the line. And what? So this is an anonymous whistleblower that went to True the Vote and now can't be found, but alleges that they got paid $10 a ballot and now they're gone. Now, unless there's a follow-up that motherfucker was murdered. What? All right, I was not expecting this. Yes. Yeah, this dude, this guy is safe in Hunter Biden's laptop. They're both wearing an invisibility cloak. Motherfucker. How did that?
I'm getting paid in the movie. Well, okay, I didn't show it in the movie because the whistleblower wants to stay anonymous, as in fact sort of disappeared, but
What? And again, what do you mean sort of? Motherfucker, did they kill your whistleblower or did they just stop lying? Did somebody go, you're going to have to testify to this in court if we ever get sued for defamation by any of these people? Poof!
The whistleblower testified that there was this Mule operation going.
And again, they didn't testify. They made an allegation randomly, if they even exist. If True the Vote's people didn't just make this fucking garbage up on their own, which is, by the way, the only linchpin that they would have to say fraud about any of this shit, between people just dropping off ballots and being filmed doing it and dropping off ballots while black for their fucking families in Georgia, and these assholes making it a crime by them being paid for it. The only part that makes it a crime is the idea that they would be paid for it, and their one whistleblower pisses off.
Going on in Atlanta, and this convinced True the Vote to then buy the geo-tracking data to try to confirm and corroborate through technological evidence the existence and the magnitude of this operation. So the whistleblower turned out to be right.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. And different states, by the way, have different rules about picking ballots up from places and dropping them off. That's another conversation entirely. Again, Emergency Powers Act, because it was a declaration of emergency both federally and state-wise, even Republican legislatures are like, they broke the rules. Like, no, they fucking well didn't. You guys passed a law a long time ago giving the governor emergency powers that include situations where there's an emergency during a time of election that allows them to set up a structure so that they can take care of it. Secondarily, the only thing that makes this even close to a crime is the idea that they were paid to harvest votes, when in fact there is no evidence that they are except an invisible whistleblower who's sort of anonymous and sort of disappeared.
Everything that the whistleblower said proved to be true.
No, it didn't, because you selectively purchased the data that proves your point and selectively removed the data that would exonerate these people or ruin your point.
But apparently the Georgia investigators, instead of going after the mules, are trying to protect the mules, or at least trying in this one case. Whose votes were they? Oh, they're the votes of my family members. Oh, wonderful. Investigation concluded. So instead of really investigating the mules,
He's not a mule. It is your assertion that makes this dude who brought his family's votes to the thing a fucking mule. The fact that you're even marking him as one is prickish.
Trying to find the whistleblower, and in some ways I think this is an obvious case of, it seems, trying to have an...
It seems, listen to the hedging in this language. An obvious case of it seems to trying to, what?
In some ways I think this is an obvious case of, it seems, trying to have an investigation that consciously or deliberately goes nowhere.
That's it? That's the whole fucking thing.
Through
By the way, debunking a desperate leftist attempt to validate 2,000 Mules, what the fuck is he talking about? This is like a newspaper. Which paper?
This is an investigation that's intended is going based on this one case.
Hold on.
Providing this so-called refutation. Now, literally, the way that they claim to know is they asked him.
Okay, hold on.
With the envelope with the signature and the name, myself, an investigation revealed he was delivered and pull up in a white SUV and insert. And then I start reading the article. But Dropbox's allegations highlighted in 2,000 Mules. Constitution, which is focusing on tomorrow probably. But I want to talk about an article in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, which is...
The Atlanta Journal-Constitution is a desperate leftist attempt to invalidate 2,000 Mules. How the fuck does that qualify? The Atlanta Journal-Constitution quoting the Republican-run government of Georgia and doing their own personal investigation is a desperate leftist attempt to invalidate 2,000 Mules? Jesus Christ, this is lazy. I'm stunned. Amazing. Like, I'd want him to try harder, but why waste your time? So far, 2,000 Mules is going the way of the doo-doo. It's not, I mean, we always knew it was going to be garbage and a Hail Mary attempt to try and get this issue back onto people's radar. The only thing I think it's successfully done is get the MAGA voters less interested in voting, which is the same, garbage we hear from Trump himself that has actually made their voters, make their core base of MAGA supporters less interested in voting. Because why would you get out of the house? Why would you bother and fill out a ballot? Why would you go through all the trouble if it's all rigged to start with? I mean, if you're doomed from the beginning, better to fight your battles some other way, right? So a lot of them aren't. A lot of them aren't voting. Ask Madison Cawthorn. Ask the fucking Dr. Oz. Even still. What is it? The Mastriano or whatever? Like, he made it through. He's going to lose in Philadelphia. Or in Pennsylvania, rather. But there's a ton of these guys who just, like, MAGA folks that aren't voting anymore. Because you got to fix 2000 or 2020 or it's not, worth even trying. And so he releases this stupid movie to try and get the voter fraud back into people's, to capitalize on the zeitgeist of it within the Republican Party. And what's he ultimately end up doing? Alleging that a lot of innocent civilians are engaged in some sort of mass conspiratorial RICO campaign to steal votes from fucking Donald Trump by the half dozen, like it's going to have a goddamn impact. When again, every time they find fake and fraudulent votes, Trump's fingerprints all over them. Every time. So anyways, you're watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. I have to say, and we'll end up covering this movie once I can get a copy of it where it doesn't, it's worth it, I suppose. But, when we've done all the Mike Lindell movies, which has a lot of this shit in it too, there's some folks I feel like that are a little scared to even look at it for fear that it might turn out there might be something to it, or it might give these people hope or false hope or whatever. I've never been afraid of that. And so that's why we've looked at these things. We just kind of stare right into them without having to worry. And I've never been disappointed. every time we cover this shit, just like Hunter Biden's laptop, like look at it, keep looking. Don't like most of the lies in the media that have come out about both of these things, about the laptop and about the election, have come because of a lot of half looks by people. They're afraid to give too much attention to the Dinesh's and the Mike Pillows of the world for fear that they might look like they're starting to get sucked into it, and then they're afraid they'll find something maybe they don't want to see or whatever. It might be a part of it. I don't give a rat fuck. I'll look straight at it and not care. Yeah, apparently Mar-a-Lago patrons pirated 2,000 mules. Yeah, that was out. So there's a copy of it floating around the internet. It's probably on BitChute or some shit. I'll watch it. Maybe that's how we watch it. But like none of this ever pans out. Every single time. Every single fucking time. None of this turns into anything. And I keep thinking it might. There's always a chance they stumble on something. You know what I mean? But like eventually, maybe they hit on something that isn't enough to change the election or something like that, but it's enough they can hang them like a bit of their argument on. Never fucking happens. Every time you think 2,000 mules, you think 200 motels. Seriously. Thanks, Eric, for the super chat. Thank you, Luis, for the super chat as well. He said, once I whistle blow a lie, I disappear. Can the guy now sue for not being compensated for being in the movie? Well, Laura says that with the super chat. That's a good question. I think he can be, sue for slander. I mean, the weird part is that the maggots that believe this bullshit are kind of dangerous sometimes. It's not so much that they're going to shit talk you or anything like that. It's that some of these assholes are armed. Like we found out just recently that the kid who, the school shooter in Michigan, thought he could get Biden impeached through his shooting. I don't know. Yeah, Ethan Crumbly. Remember that asshole with his crazy fucking parents, right? Oxford school shooting suspect Hope massacre would get Biden impeached. Parents of the Oxford school shooting suspect are worried that politics may hurt their chance of getting a fair trial, particularly given what their son allegedly wrote in his journal about President Joe Biden. Hopefully my shooting will cause Biden to get impeached, 15-year-old Ethan Crumbly allegedly wrote in a journal entry that was disclosed in a new court filing late Wednesday. The disclosure was made by lawyers for the boy's parents who are fighting to prevent their son's journal, his text messages to a friend, and internet searches on school shootings from being admitted as evidence when their case goes to trial in the fall. Their case. James and Jennifer Crumbly also don't want the jury to hear about their alleged affairs, pot smoking, or drinking habits, horse hobby, or messy house, all of which have been raised by prosecutors. None of which is relevant to their case, argue their lawyers, who filed 5 blistering motions with the court Thursday in which they blasted Oakland County prosecutor Karen McDonald over her handling of the case, accused her of trying to smear their clients and taint the jury pool by disclosing inflammatory information sought to derail the prosecution's case. The stuff is coming out about the kid who's the primary defendant in this case. Among the journal entries that have raised red flags for the parents, the lawyers, I want all of America to see the darkness in me and hate me. The first victim has to be a pretty girl with a future so she can suffer just like me. I wish to hear the screams of the children as I shoot them. I will cause the biggest school shooting in Michigan history. I will kill everyone I fucking see. I have fully mentally lost it after years of fighting my dark side. My parents won't listen to me about help or a therapist. People will be talking about my shooting for years. I'll make a huge impact on the United States. I want America to hear what I did. There's no evidence that Ethan's parents knew about or ever saw his journal. No, but they interacted with the fucking kid and they got him the guns and sorry. They make me feel like I'm the problem. My mom makes everyone feel like a piece of shit. I actually asked my dad to take me the doctor the other day. He gave me some pills and said, suck it up. My mom laughed when I told her. Ethan told the same friend about a bird's head. He was hiding under the bed. Holy shit, my mom found the bird's head. Jesus Christ, my heart is pounding. anyways, he thought he could get Biden impeached, which is something his parents wanted, by doing at school, because that's what they're shooting for. Meanwhile, apparently the new Flintstones reboot is gonna suck. Marjorie Taylor Greene apparently has her own podcast now. There's an MTG like gobo, light on her curtain behind her, wherever this is. She's wearing straight up old school Flintstones. She got a used microphone from the Senate well. And I guess this is going to be her career after she's drummed from office and can't run.
Thank you so
much. Okay, hold on. This is loud. Bring this down a touch. She's on Real America's Voice talking about baby formula, Ukraine funding, and primaries. Y'all.
much. I'm happy to be back. And I just have to tell you, I really like the new White House press secretary. She and I have a lot in common. We both believe that elections can be stolen. She wasn't satisfied with Hillary Clinton's loss or Stacey Abrams' loss.
Yeah, but once all the legal possibilities were used up, once they were, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Once all the legal remedies that were available were satisfied, they went on with their life and just opposed him on a political level, instead of charging up the stairs of the Capitol and beating police officers and coordinating with assholes inside the building to try and overturn the will of the voters.
In the governor's race in Georgia. But I have to tell you, her answer there is just hilarious. The fact that they're having to shut down the, disinformation governance board, the Ministry of Truth, because of basically misinformation in their rollout is just so funny. That was a great job by Peter Doocy. Great questioning. And she just had to tell the truth. The real deal is the Ministry of Truth is exactly what it is. The Ministry of Truth, where they'll be judging who's allowed to say what.
Yeah, that, by the way, the Misinformation Governance Board, they disbanded it because it was getting so much bad press that it was actually being used as a tool of misinformation. So they're just going to add it as a focus of DHS instead of have a working group.
What? And I've just
and yet they're still acting like it still exists.
I just think it's hilarious. It's another W in our category, another win, because Joe Biden's administration is a complete failure.
Just scoop me.
Well, yeah, you would think that if your goal was to have above 6.6% unemployment.
Because that was going to be my first question to you. I was going to give you a softball, but you went ahead and knocked it out the park already, so we'll just move on. Let's talk a bit about the baby formula shortage. You have been one of the leading voices on that issue. In fact, President Biden just invoked the Defense Production Act in order to increase the formula supply. Is this just too little too late in your estimation?
Yeah, I mean, why even try? There's still a shortage, but it's too little too late. I mean, it's going to result in the production of more baby formula, and it'll also be helpful to mothers. But, I mean, politically, it's too late.
Absolutely, it's too little too late. And for Joe Biden and the rest of his administration and the Democrats to act like that all of a sudden this shortage just started happening.
They didn't. They were letting the FDA handle it, and then they were responding with different strategies. And then when it got over a certain point, then they instituted the DPA.
Is a complete lie, and American parents all over the country know it, because the real shortages started in July of 2021. So this has been going on for nearly a year.
Yeah, there were supply shortages everywhere. It wasn't acute to the whole thing until the plant in Sturgis shut down. But of course, you could solve that by letting babies drink tainted formula. I mean, that seems to be the Republican solution.
And the whole reason this happened is because they broke our country. When you shut down an economy and shut down our...
You do realize who was president when COVID hit and the economy shut down, right?
Critical supply chains, shut down manufacturing, make people stay home from work, pay them to stay home from work.
All of which happened under Trump.
This is the outcome.
then you're saying that the shortages that started in July of last year were the direct result of the previous year's shutdowns. How fucking long does she... I mean, she probably thinks the deep state is Biden and he's been running things since Obama.
They broke our country and it's very difficult to get it back on track. But here's the real deal. Let me explain some of the other problems.
Very exciting. All right, here's the real problems. It's not that all this terrible shit started under Trump and we're still feeling the impact of it.
WIC, the government.
Oh, yeah, right. WIC. This is poor women getting baby formula, or the U.S. government guaranteeing that there's a supply of baby formula for women on assistance.
Program is the largest buyer, the largest customer for
single buyer, the largest single buyer. Of course it is, because every other buyer is a single mom or parent. It's like a family. That's the second biggest buyer, is individual families. I mean, there's like hospitals buy them, like, you know, on an individual level, of course, or whatever. But the next biggest buyer is the big cloud of individuals.
Baby formula in the United States of America.
Right. Who the fuck else buys them? People, individuals.
And now Joe Biden and his administration, they're moving into their solution is making WIC an even bigger customer, when in reality, many of the parents that can't buy baby formula for their baby, they're not on the WIC program. And the WIC program is making it more difficult for them to buy baby formula, because if you're...
No, the shortage is making it more difficult. And where people with money that aren't below the poverty line or covered by WIC can afford, perhaps, to buy outside of that or explore their options, or have healthcare options where their doctor can prescribe or give them an alternative that will be okay for their child. Whereas people on WIC cannot. This goes to the women at the border as well. This idea that, oh my God, they're buying all this formula and taking it to the border. It's because these women with their babies can't fucking leave. Once they've been picked up coming across the border, whether they're rejected or allowed to come into the country, they are in American custody for a time. They can't go shopping. They can't go find baby formula. They're stuck with whatever's present. So the government has to supply some, or a bunch of babies die. Which apparently is just fine by Elise Stefanik, and certainly is within the comfort zone of MTG here.
On WIC, if you're someone that needs to be on that government assistance, you're allowed to buy as much baby formula as you want to with your WIC vouchers, and they're increasing that for those parents. But if you're not on WIC, you're limited in how many cans of baby formula you're allowed to buy
per store. You're not limited. That's a fucking lie. If you have money and it's available, you can buy from any store. And if the store says we have a 3 container limit on that right now, or a 1 container limit on it every week because we're running low and we want to make sure everybody has some, because people will stockpile, you can go to another fucking store with your money and buy it there, or another fucking store and buy it there. The limitation is on the amount of stuff in circulation, not on your right to fucking buy it. What the fuck?
But the biggest failure, I have to tell you, the biggest failure
is allowing the Sturgis facility allowing Chronobacter and Salmonella to get into baby formula and children dying because of it? Nah.
Thank Kat Kamek, my colleague from Florida, for exposing this, is the pallets from floor to ceiling in warehouse.
Bullshit. Oh my fucking God. We covered this. I don't know how to spell her name. Pallets of baby food, whatever. Okay. We covered this before. This bullshit. This is the picture. This is the, and so far as I know, this is the only picture. Kat Kamek. The first photo is from the morning at the Ursula Processing Center at the U.S. border. Shelves and pallets packed with baby formula. Bullshit. This is one shelf with baby formula. The rest of it is fucking applesauce. It's go-go. It's just, these are like They're applesauce pouches. This is formula. They're not stacked floor to ceiling. She's full of shit. This is just a lie. Like, and you can tell, like, she doesn't even give a fuck. Look, it even says baby food. Baby food and baby formula are not the same fucking thing. Do not take. You can take all this shit you want, but that's what she's referring to.
Houses down at the border. Here's something that every mother knows. If a mother is coming across the border with her baby, I guarantee you most of those mothers are breastfeeding, and they're not in need of that baby formula.
For fuck's sake. What if the mom gets COVID? What if she's injured? What if somebody is carrying the toddler, came across the border, and there is no fucking mom with them? Lord almighty.
But American parents who are driving 8 to 10 hours a day searching for baby formula, they need that baby formula. And that baby formula, or at least most of it, should be on store shelves.
Most of it is.
For our American parents to be able to buy.
It's like 3 of these facilities with a shelf in each place.
With a smaller supply down there for emergency use.
It's a small supply for emergency use. This is like months supply for them. And again, the rest of this is fucking applesauce.
For babies. Of course, we don't want any babies to go without, but this is
Yeah, you do, apparently. Because there's not that much of it, and if that amount of it has to fucking go, and by the way, is there anywhere, have you seen a single story about applesauce shortages or fruit pouch shortages or baby food shortages like fucking pureed carrots, any of that shit? No. We're talking about newborns and specifically powdered formula for newborns who have not transitioned to fucking applesauce yet. Like, this is a ginormous lie. And so maybe she has other pictures. I haven't seen them. This is her, the 2 pictures she has on there is this picture and then this one. This is the shelf. There's the Similac and all the stuff. This is the other kind. This is the pre-mixed Similac is down on the bottom, right down here. See this? These bottles? That's the pre-mixed stuff that's already liquefied. And then there's other versions of it. There's obviously shortages of it, but they've got plenty. There is as much of it here, arguably, as there is on this shelf. It's just spread over a bigger space. Let's see. How did you see the Florida rep took a new video at the same site? We now know the formula shelf is only 4 deep, so we can calculate exactly how many cans are there. Less than 80. Yeah. Yeah, you can tell. You're talking, whatever, 9 apiece. Going back. Maybe 6. I don't know. It's hard to say from here as far as the stacks go, but it isn't that deep. You look at like 3, 4, 6, 9. And is that the same one? Is it still, let's see. Maybe we'll check her site. Let's see. Cat Macaque. Let's see. Did she post it on there? Hold on. She keeps it worked for her. She got interviewed everywhere. Biden administration. Okay, there's a big packet of that. That's okay. Here's Donald Trump Jr. America Last is clearly today's Democratic Party platform. This is the shot of this. This is like she keeps. That's her first tweet of it. There's a lot of footage of like this kind of stuff, like side views of shelves. Yet today I got word from Border that a tractor trailer full of pallets of baby formula was sitting in a storeroom. Again, America Last. Yeah, I got word from a Border from Border Patrol agents that a tractor trailer full of pallets of baby formula was sitting in a storeroom. Bullshit. This is not baby formula. That is not a tractor trailer full of fucking baby formula. She keeps saying this, and yet there is zero evidence that is the case. What I saw were multiple stocked warehouses filled with baby formula, diapers, wipes, and clothing with a confirmation of the Border Patrol that more en route. Meanwhile, okay, yeah. Stocked with baby formula, diapers, wipes, and clothing. Yeah, pallets of diapers, wipes, and clothing, and then 8 boxes of formula. This is the direct consequence of Biden's FDA canceling 43% of Abbott's baby formula production with no plan to backfill the market share. Unfortunately, the Biden administration is broken, doesn't know how to fix a problem. They only know how to create problems. That's her, whatever. That's what she's selling in this horse shit. I have not seen, yeah. Price fixing, okay, blah, blah, blah. This is her cause celeb now. But honestly, I have not seen... Is responsible. FDA shutting down nation's largest. Okay, 43%. Yeah, so the FDA, since they shut this down, that's the problem, not the actual dead kids. Told baby formula lie, but later slam for a lie about the Biden administration's acts to combat baby shortage. Okay, so that's just her saying that. Economy is one issue. Okay, blah blah blah. Okay. Anyways, that's just
an outrage, and it's an America last outrage, and that's the way the Democrats run the country.
So
no, they don't. If that was the case, then they wouldn't care if kids got poisoned. They would just leave this stuff on the shelves.
Is there anything that you and your colleagues in Congress can be doing right now to get those pallets of baby formula that are along the border?
There are none. Yeah, tell you what, find them. You know what? You've flown down to the border before. Fly down there and film yourself standing in front of pallets of baby formula.
Helping immigrants to those store shelves or to parents here in the United States who need them. And how can we make this?
Yeah, she's got a great plan for doing it. What she's going to do is stop women on WIC with infants from being able to buy formula.
System more equitable
with their WIC voucher.
For WIC recipients as well as just regular consumers.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm happy to say the WIC recipients, they are very eligible and they're not having the problem. That's what the Democrats are doing. They're making sure that there only certain select Americans are able to get baby formula. But if you're a tax paying,
yeah, if you're not broke, how dare you?
American that is not on WIC, you're really struggling. And so myself.
Yeah, people who are on WIC don't struggle. What the fuck do poor people know about struggle? Am I right? I mean, imagine if, I don't know, there was a guy watching this who, while he'd done quite well in the entertainment business and was enjoying a fun career, was on public assistance as a kid and had to get lunch at school with a blue ticket instead of a white ticket, and the rest of the kids make fun of you when you have those. Imagine if a guy like that, I don't know, grew up and watched you bullshit your way through this. What could that person's reaction be like?
Myself and my colleagues, we have been screaming from the rooftops about this issue.
Yeah, and apparently that's totally ineffective, hasn't changed anything, and one of the things you could do, instead of screaming from the rooftops, is, I don't know, create a bill that actually has a solution and try to get a vote passed on it that hasn't already been thought of by other people. Oh, too late. You voted against that.
Thankfully, we're the ones that exposed it. You saw my floor speech last week when I was saying, oh, we're sending $40 billion to Ukraine, but we don't have baby formula on our store shelf.
Yeah, those two things are not related. No amount of money will suddenly make that factory devoid of chronobacter.
For American parents. I mean,
and by the way, the U.S. government has not nationalized fucking baby formula. What kind of commie bullshit is this? How many things do they want? How many times these assholes want to clamor about Venezuela, and yet all of their solutions involve the nationalization of everything? Like, think about how many times these assholes have told you government is not the solution. If the government would just get out of the way everything would just solve itself. We don't want any government regulation. We don't want any government protection. We don't want any government intervention. And yet, as soon as something like this happens, the clamor isn't about the FDA got in the way. It's about why doesn't the White House do something about this shortage? Why doesn't the government, which is supposedly incapable of solving problems, solve this problem?
America's basically becoming like a third world country.
No, it is not. And this is just lazy, privileged bullshit.
But what we need to do is we have to cut regulations in these regulatory agencies.
Yeah, that's the thing. The FDA is just too tough on baby formula manufacturers.
Like the FDA, EPA, and other.
Yes, the FDA, the EPA. That's the problem. It's just they're trying to keep too many people from dying, and you can't make an omelet without breaking some kids.
Regulatory agencies, because the failure is this. When you can't buy baby formula from countries in Europe that are actually cleaner, better baby formula because they don't contain ingredients like high fructose corn syrup.
Oh shit! All right. Well, look who's come around all of a sudden to the idea that like European which European countries? What kind of Europe first bullshit is this? Look, all right. First of all, you can't buy these things from other countries. You absolutely can. You can order them from any of these fucking countries. Most of the time. Nobody is stopping you. I don't know what the fuck that's about. But they're not regularly on the shelves because we usually have enough.
Syrup, but yet the FDA doesn't allow us to bring those supplies into our country. That is a failure. And this is a failure.
That's not why. It's not an FDA issue. The fuck are you talking about? Hold on. Here you go. Here's Home Kosher. There's Kendamil from the UK. You can buy that. The Tonic, Twin Lights, Tyrex, Soothe HMO. That's a good start. Okay, hold on. Burp. There we go. A HAL Stage 3 cow milk toddler drink, non-GMO, from HAL USA, Home Kosher, Aptamil. Oh, this is delivered to the USA. Milupa Aptamil is for sale. $32 for that. Popular products. Here you go. Let's see. Well, here you go. March 12th, 2021. Look at this. Why U.S. parents are choosing March 12th, 2021. This is last year. This is before the shutdown. This is before the shortage that she even says. There are more than 50 different baby formulas available in the U.S. Parents can choose among the formulas made from conventional or organic milk or soy. They can also opt to try formulas labeled for fussy, gassy, or colicky babies. And baby formula is one of the most tightly regulated food products in the U.S., with the Food and Drug Administration dictating the nutrients and vitamins, setting strict rules about how formula is produced, packaged, and labeled. You know, because we had a bunch of dead kids before they started doing that. But who cares? Anti-business. Anyways, despite this, a growing number of parents are buying European formulas, even though it's technically illegal to import them to the U.S. There are large Facebook groups devoted to European formulas where parents share spreadsheets and detailed notes on ingredients and how these formulas compare to their U.S. counterparts. Some caregivers report choosing them because European brands offer certain formula options, like those made from goat's milk or milk from pasture-raised cows, which are rare or non-existent in FDA-regulated form in the U.S. Others seek out European brands because of the perception that the formulas are of higher quality and that the European formula regulations are stricter. Parents in the U.S. who buy European formulas pay a premium, for example, on various websites that sell imported EU formulas. Whole organic formula from Germany costs about $26 for a 400 milligram box, or about $1.70 to make a 6-ounce bottle. The top picks in our guide to the best baby formulas cost about $45 to make a 6-ounce bottle. Well, that's just shipping for you. To find out how different U.S. formulas are from U.S. versions and to see whether they meet FDA guidelines, Anthony Porto, a pediatric gastroenterologist and pediatrics professor at Yale University, led a study to analyze European formulas, including popular brands like HIP, Whole, Kendamil, Topfer, Luluka, and Lebenswert, which sounds like something the kid does after they have bad formula. Oh, look at young Hansel. He had a Lebenswert. It is time to change his undergurten. The study's authors concluded that there is an undergurten with your Lebenswert. I've had a Lebenswert. Who hasn't? Oh, there's no shame. Studies authors concluded there are safety concerns that arise from importing these formulas. For one, the instructions on some European formulas are written in Dutch or German, making it tough for English-speaking parents to prepare the formulas properly. Yeah, once you look it up, that's not a problem. European formulas are mixed differently than U.S. formulas. 1 scoop for 1 ounce of water instead of the U.S. standard of 1 scoop per 2 ounces of water. This could cause a parent to inadvertently dilute their baby's formula. It's not something you want to do. Too much water, blah, blah, blah. Bad for the kidneys. Porter noted it's impossible to know whether European formulas were transported under safe temperature conditions. FDA does not inspect imported formula for safety. And European formula shipments may be detained if detected because they don't meet FDA requirements. It would also be difficult to find out whether the formulas were subject to recall in the EU. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans, the PDF, issued by the Department of Agriculture, take a firm stance. Homemade infant formulas and those that are improperly and illegally imported in the United States without mandated FDA review and supervision should not be used. It costs about $1.70 to make an out. Okay, we saw that part already. So, you can already do it. There's already groups of parents that do it. It's technically not legal because they don't want to be responsible for you not being able to read Dutch and fucking up the balance of formula to water. That's a reasonable conclusion. That said, a lot of parents are doing it, have been doing it, did it before this.
Failure that started a long time ago. It's not a quick fix overnight.
Oh, I see. So it probably started like around 2017.
But these are the solutions that Republicans want to do when we take back control in the House, and Democrats.
They're already being done. Like all the reasonable ones are already being. We are getting it from other places. They've instituted the Defense Production Act. All these things are happening.
All they want to do is increase more government, and they want government to be the only solution to every single problem.
What are you talking about? Democrats want government to be the only solution to every problem. That's why you should elect Republicans so we can solve these problems, even though they'll already be solved by the time we get in office.
In America, and we know right now that is failing. It is failing fast, and our country is in real trouble.
No, we're actually doing pretty well compared to the rest of the world. The entire world is in trouble because I don't know if you know, we went through a massive pandemic that fucked up the world economy, supply chains, fuel production, refineries, everything, and we're just getting back to the point of recovering. Everybody's going through that. And the United States, while we're having a tough time, is doing way better than a lot of the rest of the world.
You mentioned Ukraine, and we're going to get to that issue momentarily, but
yes, we should.
I do want to ask you one final question on this baby formula issue. There are, of course, calls there in Congress for hearings. Nancy Pelosi calling for indictments. I'd have to admit, from the outside looking in, it feels like Congress has been more reactive than proactive on this issue.
Yeah, why didn't they solve the toxic baby formula problem before we had toxic baby formula? It's, you know what I mean? They need to set up something, I don't know, like a Food and Drug Administration to handle times when the food breaks down. And
what do you expect to ultimately come of all of this? There's a lot of talking, but what's going to be the action?
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to be solved by the time people are even going to the polls. This will be another dead talking point dealing with a problem that arose for real, that killed some kids and sickened some others and took a little time to fix, especially with current supply chain issues worldwide. But by the time you want to use it to sell your why you should get elected, it'll be a long dead conversation.
Oh, well, for indictments, what is she calling for indictments for?
You work there, motherfucker. You don't know?
That would be the question. She has said, and I don't know if you heard,
the people at the actual plant that didn't notify people sooner or work to shift it. All right.
Her just the other day saying, "Oh, there should be indictments. I think we should consider indictments." And it's
yeah, I don't know. I just heard something indictments, or I don't know. I heard the word.
Sounds like she also wants to go into some hearings specific to some of these baby formula companies. And
why would she want to do that?
And the allegations of some of the bacteria and that kind of thing.
Oh my
She has
goodness.
said
The only
specifically
indictments that, if there's any indictments that should take place, it should be Democrats for shutting our country down, blue state governors for forcing businesses to close, completely violating Americans' rights.
The Sturgis plant was closed down because of an outbreak of bacteria that happened after everything had opened up again. Does anybody know what the fuck she's talking about? Does she know what she's talking about? The fuck is this? What?
Look at all the small businesses that failed. Look at all the children that were forced inside for 2 years. Look,
What? I'm sorry. My child isn't broken. Is yours? The fuck kind of America first bullshit? You know, you don't understand. American children are fucking weak. They've got no backbone. If they don't go to school for, and show up in person for, a year and a half during a pandemic and bring a disease home and kill their grandparents, I don't know how they'll ever recover. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, do you think any of these assholes know about London during the bombings in World War II, the Luftwaffe? How do you think British kids did school-wise after those couple of years? You think they all got stupid and forgot how to dance?
suicide rates.
Good Lord.
I mean, all of these failures that we're facing in our nation
are government problems. The government caused these problems and the government needs to solve them. They are the primary reason for suicide in the United States is government policies against a pandemic. What
are absolutely the fault of government leaders, not people that
not the people who actually did themselves in or the circumstance they found themselves. What in the world? By the way, the rest of the time, these WIC women, I don't know why, they need to bootstrap themselves. This is not government's job to fix your fucking life, okay, poor lady?
try to make baby formula. This is something that's outrageous to me.
Oh, God, we've used the word outrageous. That means it's a bullshit charge.
Look at all the small businesses that failed. Look at all the children that were forced inside for 2 years. Look, the suicide rates. I mean, all of these failures that we're facing in our nation are absolutely the fault of government leaders, not people that try to make baby formula. This is something that's outrageous to me.
Again, it's tainted baby formula. 2 kids died. 4 got sick from the food from that plant. They had to do a recall. They did a voluntary recall, which means they knew they had signs from their own scientists, their own clinicians that work there at that plant to make sure that the baby food formula isn't poisonous that went, yeah, it might be us. They did it on purpose, fucko.
I think that we need to have, of course, we want to have good products, especially when it...
Yeah, of course. But you don't want to... I mean, the way you can tell a good product is if a bunch of kids die, people will just stop buying it. You know what I mean? Let the market handle it. We don't need an FDA. If the meat is rotten, sure, it might kill you a couple of days later. And toxic chemicals in your beverages might take you a decade or so to find out that that's what caused your cancer. But then after that, if you manage to have kids and aren't sterilized by whatever toxicity is in the stuff, your kids will be alive to know, I'm never going to eat that. That's what killed my mom.
It comes to baby formula, but we have rules in place for that already.
Right, and they were followed, and that's why the plant had to be shut down.
But I'm not sure what Nancy Pelosi is talking about.
She's talking about people that may have hidden this for longer or may have downplayed it to the FDA in the lead up to their voluntary recall. That it's one of those things where you find out that possibly you could find out that inside the company there were emails going back and forth going, holy shit, we got some dead kids. Everybody start shredding documents.
They're always wanting to shift the blame to someone else when the blame falls squarely on Nancy Pelosi.
How? What the fuck? How is she? What'd she do? Sneak in? She flew in from fucking San Francisco and sprinkled Chronobacter and Salmonella in the fucking place?
The Speaker of the House, Joe Biden, is president of the...
Right. So Donald Trump was president when COVID showed up, when it ran rampant through the country. He was president when all the businesses she's talking about were shut down and lost. He was president when the stock market hit its largest dip since 2008. So he's responsible for all that shit. We're just all gonna... we're gonna just that's an understood that if you're gonna blame it on government, you're gonna blame everything that happened under him. So even COVID getting into the country at all happened on his watch. Obviously, his responsibility. If Nancy Pelosi is responsible for Chronobacter in a factory in Sturgis, Michigan, then clearly Donald Trump is responsible for all the COVID that entered the country. The fuck?
The United States, Kamala Harris is vice president, and the entire
Since when? Oh, she is, right.
administration and the Democrats in control of this country. And you see these massive spending bills flooding our economy with money.
Since when? Our economy didn't get fucking flooded with money. The dollar is incredibly strong right now because there's a liquidity problem, fucko.
That shouldn't be forced into the economy has increased inflation.
No, it hasn't. This is not monetary inflation. It's all supply shock. This argument, I don't know why this goes unchallenged fucking everywhere. Does anybody watching this have too much money right now? Yeah, like, oh shit, I just got money falling out of my fucking pockets. I can't even spend it anywhere. Nobody will take it. It's like Venezuela. I'm taking a wheelbarrow full of money to the grocery store to buy 6 eggs. Get the fuck out of here. It's supply shock.
To the point where people can hardly afford anything. No, all of these failures are the result. These are the consequences that are unavoidable when we have failing leaders running our country.
Well, yeah, but Trump got voted out. You know, it's going to take time to fix the damage that he made. I mean, you certainly understand that.
And running our country into the ground. Those are the people. If anyone needs to be investigated, it needs to be those people.
Rhetoric to get a rise.
Yeah, I like. So current members of Congress who are, more fixated on like throwing a monkey wrench in the system than actually making things work. Like if they vote against a bill, like if, I don't know, like there 418 members of Congress vote for something, but like 8 others vote against it because, they're trying to gum up the works, or one senator is trying to stop a bill that has huge bipartisan support. Like maybe that person should be investigated and indicted for, being contrary to democratic principles, small d democratic principles that go throughout the entire country, not acting in the best interests of their constituents. No, we're not gonna.
With not much substance, apparently. All right, let's move on.
Apparently.
To the Senate and its vote for today on that $40 billion funding bill for Ukraine. You famously voted against that measure. So what is your
infamously, but sure,
expectation in terms of passage there in the Senate?
It passed.
And you are among only 57 Congress members voting against it, all Republican.
Yeah, well, there aren't that many Nazis in Congress. I mean, that's the thing we're learning.
I would imagine you're incensed that it's even gotten this far.
Yes, I imagine it. Imagine what it feels like to be a minority, and how infuriating that must be when people act against your desire.
I am. I'm constantly appalled at the blindness of my colleagues here.
Yeah, it's terrible. Her if only people could see things as clearly as she does through a haze of sex guru Jim Sweat jizz. All right.
In Washington, D.C., here we are. Our country is falling apart. Our border is wide open.
No, it isn't.
Fentanyl
No, it isn't.
has now killed over 100,000 Americans, and it's the number one cause of death.
It killed way more people than that. You just mean in the single year. By the way, the fiscal year that was 75% during Trump, and another 20% of it was during time where his policies were still in place before Joe Biden became president.
And young people from ages
it's like April 2020 to 2021.
18 to 45. Here we have inflation out of control, gas prices out of control.
No, I would say Turkey has it out of control. We have it, but it's not out of control.
We're no longer energy independent.
Yes, we are.
Here in America.
Yeah, we are.
When we were just 2 years.
We're not importing oil, gas. Not in any measurable amount. And if we are, it's just because it's cheaper. Also, again, we're not going to federalize or nationalize the fucking oil industry.
Ago, the failures go on, and it's crisis after crisis.
Yeah, well, obviously you haven't been a solution. You've been there since Trump, and obviously you've gotten nothing done.
But yet we have Washington, D.C. just leaning into their nonstop ways of never-ending wars in foreign countries.
I'm sorry, are we still in Afghanistan? Wait, which president got us out of Afghanistan? Fuck you.
When the American people have no appetite for war against.
Well, we're not going to war. We're supplying military aid to a country that is being attacked, and its citizens are being raped, murdered, and dumped into mass graves. And normally Americans are against that, and if we can help, we do. Especially when we're not putting soldiers on the ground.
Against nuclear Russia in Ukraine.
Yeah, they've got nukes, so we just got to let them do whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, you have a handgun, and they have a handgun, but I mean, if they're sexually assaulting you, don't use your handgun because they might use theirs.
Defending some other country's border when our own government.
We're not defending their border. It's their very existence. As a matter of fact, technically under Trump, he tried to deny them some of that military aid, but there's always been a dispute about their border in two places. That's been going on for a long time. And we've been supporting them securing their border over time, just like we secure our own. But even under Trump, while he was president, this is different because they attacked the whole fucking country.
Government leaders can't defend our own border.
Yeah, we do. We've got CPB, we've got ICE, we've got National Guard in some places. Even though Abbott's Operation Lone Star is a fucking failure, there's still plenty of people down there. Obviously, the wall is the problem.
So you see, I have voted constantly against this U.S. involvement in Ukraine.
Yeah, she also. I made a list of stuff that, like, see, there you go. I'm gonna find my. You're welcome, Carl, for explaining that it's supply shock and not inflation. There we go. We had a list of the stuff that she voted against, and Marjorie Taylor Greene has voted, dozens of times against American support for Americans throughout. She could give a rat fuck.
We have to remind ourselves.
Hold on, let me just look it up real quick. Marjorie, Taylor Greene voting record. I think it's in here. I could spell. There you go. Let's see, is this one? Continue to say. Okay, here we go. Here's some of the things she voted for. She voted against isolating the Russian government. The Russian Government Officials Act 2022, the sanctions on the oligarchs. Russian Belarus Financial Sanctions Act 22, she voted against that. She voted against the Stop Iranian Drones Act. She voted against the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2022, like standard budget extension. The Darren Drake Act, the Transplant Act of 2021. She voted to repeal the authorization for the use of military force against the Iraq resolution, which passed 268 to 161 with mostly Democrats, curiously enough. Let's see. Missed votes, a bunch. Let's see. Show the numbers. She did. There's more of them. Hold on. Key votes. I want to see the view. Let's see. Where's the view all? Resource materials in the United States Congress Legislative Community Project under the House and Senate websites, House Friends and photos. Okay, sponsored bills. These are just her sponsored bills. She got. Let me find this. This is her misconduct things. GovTrack is doing this. Hold on one second. Let me grab voting record to another head to head. There you go. Select a representative. Let's just try. Oh, there we go. I gotta I'll climb this back. Hold on. Let's see. Congress.gov. Let's see. High filters. Sponsorship legislation. Voting. Where's her vote? Let's see. Where's her voting record? Hold on a second. It's Heritage Action. Well, Heritage Action likes her. Hold on one second. She's got a 96% with them. I can't find it. Hold on. We'll look for it later. But she, like, there's a bunch of legislation, just kind of standard run of the mill stuff that she votes against. But she votes like it's shocking to me how much stuff that is sort of run of the mill, like just budgetary stuff in the United States. Like she voted against the DPAA, the the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. Like standard, like the whole thing that Trump runs on, like he rebuilt the military and military spending. And that's a 10-year plan or whatever. You have to keep re-upping that every year based on the plan for a couple of years. Like you establish a plan, and that's where we're going to invest over the next decade. And then you got to re-up it every year. She voted against it. Like garbage.
Of course, none of us want anyone to die. But
yeah, I don't want anyone to die. Yeah, she doesn't want anyone to die. That's why she shot a car with a giant, like 50 cal in a campaign ad.
Why are we picking and choosing which foreign wars we should be funding and which country we should be defending?
Yeah, I mean, America should basically be useless on the world stage.
There's countries in Africa that are constantly at civil war. Why do we ignore those countries?
Because they're constantly at civil war. This is different than the internal workings of a country versus the one country invading another. See how the civil war versus this isn't a civil war. That might be the indication, is that she actually thinks like Ukraine is the Ukraine, that it's a part of Russia.
By this logic, it just makes no sense that we would
or the lack thereof.
Would choose Ukraine to be the country that we must absolutely have to defend because Ukrainian lives matter when lives don't matter in other foreign countries to our hypocritical U.S. government leaders.
Oh, no, we don't. So the problem isn't that we're supporting the Ukrainians in this war, is that we don't care about other groups in the war. So how'd you feel about Kosovo intervention? What Middle Eastern country do you think we should be involved in? Is it because we got out of Afghanistan that she's pissed?
So you see, it doesn't make sense to me. It's more America last. When we can't fix our own problems at home.
We are fixing our own problems at home, but this will become a problem for us worldwide since all of our trading partners will be under the threat of invasion by Russia if this continues.
And our own
Also, a lot of people are being murdered, which normally you would give a fuck about, but apparently not.
American babies are starving because their parents
American babies are not starving.
Can't find baby formula.
That's not why they're starving, and they're not starving. Food insecurity is not starvation.
It just shows to me that we're too worried about what's happening across on the other side of the fence when we can't even take care of our own problems right here at home. Another reason.
Well, then why did you hold on? I know I'm going to find this. It's going to bug me now. Hold on. Where is it? MTG. This has got to be in there. Hold on. Let's see. Responsible guys are cars. Sponsored legislation. I just want to find her fucking votes. Does anybody know what the main website is for that? Ballotpedia? Let's see. Nope, that's not it. Who voted yes? It's gonna drive me crazy. Hold on. I'm looking at the House website to try and find it. Because I had it up before. Hold on. I'm finding it. I'm looking it up. Let's see. Member information. I'm looking at Ballotpedia. 1 second, because it's quite telling. Hold on. It's elections. That's a thing. But what's wrong? General election. There you go. Marjorie Greene. There you go. Key messages, campaign themes, key vote. Here you go. These are the key votes. Let's see. Congress's top feud. Here you go. Hold on. So this is the. I don't want that. Get out of the way. What the hell? Hold on. I've got to stretch this out. Yeah. So she voted against the American Rescue Plan. She voted against the For the People Act. She voted yea on the NDAA for the 2022, the second passing of it, I guess, after it cleared the Senate. The American Dream and Promise Act of 2021, which passed, she voted for that. She voted against the Equality Act, against infrastructure. I don't know why you would vote against infrastructure. It's very weird. The Safe Banking Act, she obviously Build Back Better, she's not going to vote for. The Women's Health Protection Act, the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, that's fascinating. She voted for that. She voted against impeaching Trump, and the concurrent resolution to set forth the budget for the U.S. government. She voted against the regular moving budget. I want to see the whole list. I don't want to see her key votes. I want to see her entire voting record. And I don't know why. Let's see. Key votes, noteworthy events. See also external links. Where it is. Representative Marjorie about access to American Pan. These are the only few preceded by. Okay, Georgia State. Yeah. Anyways, she voted against infrastructure. That's the primary one. Like she's like, I need to vote for America. We need to help America first. We gotta. Geez, what it take, Jimmy? Well, it takes me. Actually, I'm in the middle of work. I'm doing a show. It's not just about chit chat. Hi. Not that I ignore the chat, but she voted against specifically. She voted against the infrastructure bill, which seems really strange when she's like, America first, America first. That seems like one of the more perfunctory, normal bills. Like that should have just been bipartisan across the
Why I voted no against many of these sanctions is because it has not stopped Putin's war.
Yeah, it's not going to stop it immediately. It's going to stop it gradually. That's one of the things and it threatens them against, like, there's going to be long-term damage to your economy the longer these go on, so you don't want to keep doing this. And they've absolutely affected it because they don't have parts to repair their fucking drones or any of that shit. And the drones are landing with, like, consumer cameras put in them.
In Ukraine. As a matter of fact, it's helped Putin sell more oil and gas to countries like India, who we have ignored and we should keep as an ally.
We do have them as an ally.
And then it has driven Russia closer to China and
good luck with that.
Created an alliance there that
no, it hasn't.
Should not exist, but that
it shouldn't exist. Well, they've been fighting over a border for a while. If you don't know this, there are white Chinese people on the Russian border because they just happened to be on the wrong side of a road when the border was drawn.
That's our own fault. The only people that these sanctions are hurting are Americans at the gas.
Americans. Those are the special. I like them because they're super Americans.
Pumps, and then people all over the world where there's going to be severe food famines. I hope I see.
They're going to be severe food famines. Well, I maybe you should call Vladimir Putin and tell him not to bomb the farm fields of Ukraine then at all. Or stop boats full of grain from leaving the Odessa ports.
I hope I see the Senate vote no, but sadly, I don't think that they actually have the courage to do that.
No, they have the courage to vote yes. It takes more courage to vote yes rather than these sort of vapid tantrum votes. Honestly, I don't know why she's not on TYT these days.
Well, we'll find out here shortly. Congresswoman Greene, we got about 30 seconds. Really quickly, your primary is next week. It's one of many big races there in the state of Georgia. What is your prediction, for Kemp versus Perdue, Herschel Walker, Vernon Jones, and all of the other big races on tap there in your
Yeah, in 26 seconds.
state?
Oh my goodness, there's a lot of close
Yeah.
races, so I really have a hard time predicting it, but I'm just grateful to all the people in my district who are reaching out and pouring out support for me and voting for me, and that I'm truly grateful for. So I'm keeping my nose to the ground and focused on
Grindstone.
winning my reelection.
If your nose to the ground, what are you, fucking trying to find truffles?
On Tuesday.
You all the best, and we will see you again soon here. Can I get your commitment? You'll come back and talk to us?
Oh, absolutely. This was so much fun. I would love to.
All right, we'll love to have you. Thanks so much for being here this morning and taking some time.
And if you don't show up, you're a liar. Just saying. You promised. Real America's Voice. If we see you on Newsmax, we're done, okay?
Time for us.
Thank
Ugh, God. Thank you. Her nose to the ground. What the fuck? Again, voted against the infrastructure bill, and yet, and wants points for voting against Ukraine aid, which is going to pass. Like, this is the essence of protest votes. Waste of fucking time. Like old school politics too. This isn't, because allegedly, in any normal circumstance, if Trump was in office and this is the way they lean, she would be absolutely for this Ukraine funding. And like, I don't think there was ever a point where she denied Afghan funding while he was president that I'm aware of. Like funding for the Afghan war, right? She certainly didn't push to have some sort of bill to get us out, because that would have included us leaving Bagram, and he wouldn't have had that. Just some goofy shit. Oh my gosh, it's 5:40. I gotta go. I'm way over, and I gotta go catch a plane. I'm flying to San Diego tonight. Got like an hour before I gotta leave to go to the airport. What the hell? You guys, you're just too fun to hang around. By the way, like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Venmo is a great way to support the show. If you want to just send me a cost of a cup of coffee or more, you can buy me dinner that way. You can go get some lunch, eat something. You look tired and emaciated. I think I look okay, but you know what I'm saying. And or for God's sake, buy a new shirt. Although I have to say, I was on a podcast. I was on Adam Farrar's podcast earlier. He's gonna we taped it earlier. I'll let you guys know when he releases it. But I thought I had to represent, so I'm wearing my Danko Jones shirt today because we love Danko. Good man, good people. Come on, so much fun. And of course, one of the pre-Sparksisms, sleep is the enemy. Anyways, I gotta go. I'm gonna chit chat, and it's gonna be a Midwestern goodbye. I'm gonna miss my plane, and it's gonna be crazy and all that stuff. And I don't know why I'm kidding. Bye.